GB. Welcome on to For the Souls
Oh, we're on?
podcast.
All right, cool.
How you doing
That was
today?
pretty quick. I'm doing cool. Tired, busy. Um, Overall, just grateful to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you. And I heard correctly, right? When you said you can move it if you need to.
It's cool.
That you were asleep on the way here. You
Yeah,
just
hell
woke up.
yeah. Yeah. I have pretty busy days, so I caught the opportunity to sleep for like 20 minutes.
Oh, what a
So
blessing.
yeah, my boy's like, "Hey, we're here." I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh shit, all right."
I give it to you guys because when you're booked and busy, I be feeling busy just doing what I do, and I only do this like once a week. But this week I actually did three. So I'm
Okay,
like, oh man, this is back to back, and then
that's good. That's
go
good.
home, be with the kids, do the whole wife stuff. It's
Right.
been a lot of work.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a blessing to stay busy for sure.
oh, definitely. So I want to touch. Well, I already told you this is going to be a little bit more of a serious podcast. I know you came out talking about your addiction and overcoming that. You did mention this is your first interview since sobriety, which I'm like
Yeah,
feeling
I
honored.
could be wrong, but to my recollection, this is probably the first interview I've done in a while. Yeah,
Awesome.
probably like over a year. Yep.
Well, I feel very honored. Let's take it
Hmm.
way back. Let's rewind it.
Yeah,
How
let's
did
do
you
it.
grow up?
I grew up quick. I grew up fast. Um, I grew up in a first generation Mexican household.
Yeah.
From Merced, California, 209. Um, and yeah, I mean, we just grew up like in a functional, dysfunctional home.
Wait,
Um,
elaborate. What's a functional dysfunctional home?
so it's like it ain't always perfect. Everybody got their own issues going on, and everybody dealing with their own problems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from the oldest to the youngest, and going through their own trials and tribulations in life. But in the end of the day, everybody could still come together, and they're still close knit, and just vibe as a family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless of all the trauma and all else that's going on outside of, you feel me?
I feel that. I can
Outside
relate to
of
that.
home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm guessing you have siblings.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
do you fall in the
I'm the
order?
youngest of 8.
The youngest of
Yeah,
8.
yeah. I'm the youngest of 8. Yeah.
Wow. And how did that feel? Do you feel like your needs were met? Because that's a big family. 2, you're the youngest. And I would imagine, I mean, when I think about my household, right? I'm the oldest, and I was doing so much crazy shit like in my adolescence that
Hmm.
I can honestly say I see where my mom was so caught up with me that she didn't have as much time for my younger siblings in certain aspects in ways that they needed her, if that makes sense.
It does. Mine. I think my mom's was just so caught up in trying to provide for all of us that um she couldn't keep up with us. You know what I'm saying?
Damn fire truck.
Like she didn't have enough time for every single person individually. You feel me?
Yeah.
Um, she worked up to 3 jobs, so it came a point in time to where I wouldn't see her because she would come home when I'd be sleeping, like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So when I'd wake up, she'd be gone, back at work.
Yeah.
So during that time, I used to think that my oldest sister was my mom.
Oh.
So when I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I remember me not believing that my mom was my mom. I was like, no, that's not my mom. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Dang. Okay, so from like what age then was your mom having to work those 3 jobs? Because
Mainly when I was younger, mainly
like under 5?
yeah, like 5 and under
Oh
type
yeah,
shit.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. And that makes sense
Yeah.
because those are the like most pivotal emotional forming years for children.
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes sense
Yeah, it was
that
like before 5 type
whoever's
shit.
there being the more maternal,
Yeah.
that's who you would think is your parent.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I grew up. Um it was a pretty like normal childhood, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I know a lot of people that go through more like traumatic
Mhm.
you know, circumstances at home. Fortunately, mine weren't too bad aside like getting my ass whooped and shit like that. Uh Not having, you feel me, everything we wanted, but kind of being grateful for the little we had
Yeah.
type shit. Uh
Did you grow up with a male role model in the house? You grew up with
no,
your
I mean
dad?
I had older brothers, but like growing up, when I could say like I had a role model, it wasn't up until like middle school, high school
Yeah.
age, you know what I'm saying? Like
So
teenager.
your dad wasn't present?
He was, but he was more like a provider. He
Get
was
what you're
more
saying.
like I'm gonna pay the bill, like I'm gonna pay the rent or whatever. Uh, I'm gonna pay the bills, but just don't bother me type shit.
Yeah.
I'm saying nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we never had a relationship like a dad and son relationship to
Yeah.
where you know he teaches you how to ride a bike or whatever your dad is supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we never had that bond.
I find that that's really
Yeah.
common in first gen, any kind of like first generations here, like being first gen Mexican American myself.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, but I think it's just, and I've said this before, I think it's just being ill equipped to understand the emotional needs that your children need. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned something earlier, like there was so many of us, I feel like my mom couldn't meet each of our needs individually.
Facts.
I recognized that early on, and I remember always telling myself as a mom, I I wanted to have a big family, but then after I saw how much it takes to actually raise each of the kids, I knew, I was like, oh no, I got to stop at 4 because
Mm.
I can only stretch myself
That's a
so
lot of kids
much.
already, though.
It
I
is, it
swear,
is.
yeah.
And they all have super different personalities. You know what I mean?
That's
So like
crazy.
the way my oldest daughter's love language compared to her sister, compared to her brother, compared to my youngest, they are all so different. And because I grew up feeling like, damn, my parents didn't give a fuck the way we
Yeah,
needed to
yeah,
be
yeah.
loved. Like they,
Facts.
and devil's advocate, they only knew how to do what they knew to do. And a lot of them grew up in households where emotions, what, love, what, like we didn't say I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
you, we don't give hugs, we don't do none of that. So
yeah.
it made sense that they tried to break the cycles in the way that they knew how, but it still wasn't enough. And for me with my kids, I'm very diligent about observing and studying my kids
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, I always feared like, oh my God, what if they grow up like me and make all the
Yeah,
mistakes
yeah.
that I made because I was so misunderstood and I just wasn't loved the way I needed to be loved.
Facts, facts. Now that's I can relate to that, to being like, yeah, we didn't know how to love, or we didn't even know what love was. It's like I don't recall ever telling my mom or dad like, "Hey, I love you," or them telling me like vice versa like that. Like it was a foreign feeling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What about with you and your sister?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really explain it. Like it was just, I guess, just kind of what we knew. Like kind of like more like an emotional connection. Like, hey, like if you need me, I'm here. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I got you. Or just that look, like, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying, from a distance, like
Mhm.
type shit. Because everybody kind of grew up quick in my household. Everybody had their own individual thing going on. Um, it wasn't like everybody just lived their own life, and at the end of the day, you come together, the same household, sleep, say what's up, hi, bye, as you guys are, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't too um, like doing like
Family
activities as
things,
a
like
family
the
as a
structure.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was just eating out with my boy the other day, and I seen like this family eating all together. I think we were at Olive Garden,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn, like I'm trying to take my whole family out like that, because I don't remember not one single time to where we all went out and ate.
Yeah.
Like it just never happened.
Yeah, and it's so
You know what
pivotal.
I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's so pivotal. Like it's actually things like that. There was a study done that children who sit down and eat dinner with their parents and their family and talk about their day, they actually, I forget exactly what it was, but pretty much they have a one up. They feel like closer to their parents and shit.
Oh yeah,
And
facts.
I grew up like that. My husband didn't grow up like that. He's like, I'm gonna go sit by the TV, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Hmm.
we got to sit at the table. We got to pray
Yeah, yeah,
before we eat. What do you mean you're gonna go do your own thing?
yeah, yeah.
So it's been even an adjustment for him, being a dad and not having that emotion in his household. I was lucky enough to have it with my mom, but he didn't grow up like that at all. And as a father, I don't know if you could relate to this, if it felt weird for him to like be affectionate with his kids. And there was a time where he was like, it's almost uncomfortable because I didn't grow up having love like that.
Yeah,
And
hell yeah.
do you
Yeah.
experience that too?
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, just due to the fact that I was kind of used to being put like on the back burner, kind of like you get what you get. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I was definitely on the same hype type shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm busy working, doing what I do, and kind of like whenever I got kind of have time for my kid, I got time for my kid. But eventually, I started, getting more into the youth, more involved with like communicating with the youth in
Mhm.
in in my community,
Mhm.
to where sometimes, like we'll ask them, hey, how's your day?
Yeah.
And their day was like fucking hell, right? And you couldn't even tell, right?
Yeah.
So speaking to like a youngster in my hood, I'd be like, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, damn, I need to go back home and show my daughter like the most love and affection I could.
Yes.
So that's the type of hype I'm on right now. Is like everything I do on a daily basis is gonna play a big role in my daughter's life. Like
Yeah.
when she gets older, she's gonna be like, I remember all that shit. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's awesome. That's awesome that you're aware of it.
Yeah,
There's so many people that they
right.
ain't even aware of it
They're
until it's
not.
too late, you know?
Yeah, and I'm glad I caught it early on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than, a few years from now,
Yeah.
then I would have been like, damn, like my daughter, even though I was there for her every day and, gave her whatever I could type shit, she would have probably grew up like, with a similar mentality like I did. Like, damn, I
Yeah.
can't remember one time that my dad fucking did this or that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yep.
Yeah. So, transitioning now from that, how would you say you were as a kid in general? Like, what was your temperament like? Were you a good kid, bad kid?
I think I was cool up until like middle school, like teenage
Mm-hmm.
years. Um, that's when I really started hanging around, the gangs and shit in my town.
Yeah.
Like 11,
Yeah.
12. And due to the fact that, we was lacking attention and love in our home, that's where I was getting the most attention that was in the streets.
Yeah.
So I gravitated to that. If you get that love from
The
the gang
homies.
members, yeah, from the
Yeah.
homies, and you know
Did it fill
that's
that void?
yeah, it filled it for years. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a place where I felt like I could kind of be myself, and they're gonna accept me regardless of what the fuck, you feel me.
Yeah.
um but then again, you feel me, we all know where that road goes to, eventually. At the time I didn't know. At the time I was just like, these are my homies and shit like that. So I will, we was just wilding out. And up until that time, like teenager, like when I was a teenager, that's when shit started getting spunky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were actively doing some crazy shit out here?
I wouldn't necessarily just like say like head first, just fucking all wild out crazy shit,
Yeah.
but it escalated quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think I read on one of your interviews, you did time, right?
Yeah, I've done quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, as like a juvenile, up until going to the county into
Yeah.
prison and shit like that.
And doing time as a juvenile, it didn't ever like scare you straight.
Nah,
Like there was nothing in during that time that was like, all
nah,
right, I need
because
to change.
I didn't get I never got convicted of nothing serious like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most serious crime I probably caught in high school was probably like I think it was probably like assault and battery and gang enhancements. Um, Maybe like a 211 or something like that, like shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never enough for me to like get like a big ass bid as a youngster. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was more for when I graduated. I caught a case like almost right after, and like a few months after that, and that's the one that kind of made me think like, oh shit.
And what about it made you reevaluate the decisions you're making
I
in
think
life?
all the circumstances I was in, being locked up that time, um, I was one of the youngest people on my tier.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was all older, super
Mm-hmm.
older. Done hella time on level 4 yards and shit like that. Um, the fact that I was fighting a case, I was fighting a case for a long time. And when you're fighting a case, you never know your out date.
Yeah.
And especially like being in the county, your cell's constantly flipping, like new people coming in and out. So you never know who's gonna have to go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So at the time, a lot of people was getting, the issue, and a lot of people were just catching cases left and right inside of the county. So just being, the youngest, one of the youngest, I was 18. Everybody else was like, mid 30s, 40s. You know, they was just gaming me up, kind of molding me.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned like, oh, this shit ain't no game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This shit gets really serious, and it ain't what we thought as kids. We thought this shit was cool, and now it's like this shit's real. This is real. So up until that point, I think that's when I started maturing, because um, I wouldn't necessarily tell you that they scare you straight in there. I would just say like, you know, you're gonna learn new discipline. You know, you're gonna mind somebody. You know, you ain't gonna do what you want in here,
Yeah.
and the rules is different in here now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's when I learned to like mature. That's when I
Yeah.
started maturing.
Yeah.
Like
And did you know, like, yeah, nah, this shit ain't for me?
I knew it wasn't for me, but at the same time, like when I got out, the lifestyle was all kind of we knew as well.
Yeah.
Like that's all kind of we were taught. You know, it's like you know you got to go put in work, you got to go earn your stripes,
Yeah.
and you got to go do your time, and you know you can't say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all. It was a
It
repetitive
was
cycle.
familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a repetitive cycle, and we didn't know anything else that was like you know being a productive member of society, you know, building your
Yeah.
credit, um, investments and shit like that we know
Yeah.
now, assets and liabilities and shit like that. We didn't know none of like nobody was there to teach us
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody was always just like, you know,
Yeah.
go-
People stay with what's familiar in general because um, there's a comfortability in that because it's all you know, and there's a fear of the unknown. I call it a fear because it's like wanting to change your life. You don't know what's on the other side of that tunnel. You don't even know what you're fighting for. And I know for me, when I wanted to really change my life, there was just a moment where I had to accept like this is all I know, and I see how far this has gotten me. Because like I caught a case at 16, I caught another case at 21, and or 20 actually, and that shit was normal. My
mm-hmm,
mentality was normal. It was based off survival. You know, I never got into no gangs or nothing like that, but I was always in the street doing dumb shit, always trying to prove myself. And as a female, it's a little weird to sit here and say it like that because
mm-hmm,
it's like I'm a girl, you know. But I think the way my dad raised me was just he kind of raised me rough around the edges, and I always took a little bit more of a masculine approach to life
mm-hmm,
because I was surviving. And trying to change and transition into like, okay, how do I become soft and feminine? And you know, I'm a, I don't know, this whole healing part of recognizing things in myself that put me in certain situations and the mentality I was taking to life, the people I was hanging around. I remember that was one of the hardest things for me to have to face. Like, damn, I really got to cut people off that I care about
facts.
genuinely. But
Mm-hmm,
because I see where they're going and where I'm trying to go, we're not on the same path at
mm-hmm.
all.
Yeah, yeah,
And that shit is hard. And there's almost
yeah. It
like a
is.
grief that comes with it that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I haven't heard too many people talk about it, but even what was it? I interviewed the actor Noel G, right? I literally was thinking about, oh, how cool is that? I got to interview him. And then I started crying because I was like, damn, one of my cousins who, you know, was one of the ones that just fell off on the come up. I cried because I was like, damn, I would have wished that she was here experiencing this with
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You experienced that. I guess it's all a part of growing up.
Yeah.
It's all a part of growth. You know, is letting. You know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because we would want everybody to be here
Yeah.
and experience what we experienced, but I guess that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know that you spoke out about sobriety and your struggles with addiction. First of all, what were you addicted to?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. So
Mm-hmm.
alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
Was this since like an adolescence? Was this something that
Yeah.
developed as you grew?
Yeah. So it was really um, my pops was an alcoholic. My older brothers got to experience that part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My older brothers were alcoholics and shit like that. I got to experience that part. So really, I started drinking because not only because of that, but because it was just normalized,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
neighborhood and in the community. It was, everybody got a 40, everybody got a beer. Uh, OEs, King Cobras at the time, it was a lot of malt liquor. I don't know if they still got them over here, but in Merced they used to have like Cisco's, Mad Dog
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2020s.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Basically, the cheap shit, the shit we could afford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would all put our money together and get like it's like we couldn't afford the Patron or the Don Julio and shit like that or the expensive beer, but we could do like the Taka vodkas, the fucking
Oh my God.
the
For
OEs,
locals.
King Cobras and shit. Yeah, Four
Oh.
Locos, all that
Do you
shit.
remember
Yeah,
when those first came out? How
yeah,
they recalled them?
Yeah, because the caffeine and shit like that.
Dude, I don't know, but the first time I had one of those, I blacked out, and I still remember the flavor. It was watermelon. I cannot to this day
Yeah.
have a fucking Four Loko
Yeah,
because
yeah.
hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some crazy time.
Yeah.
So just it was always around.
It was just normalized. Started drinking, since I want to say it was like probably like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Started drinking like faithfully,
Yeah.
just even at school, we stayed drunk at school. Um Afterwards, it was a part of the lifestyle, it was just kicking it at the park, kicking it outside, anywhere you're at, you got to have a beer
Yeah.
or a pack of beer or a bottle
Yeah.
being passed around, excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a normal thing to do. Um and it's not even like that you're addicted to it. It's not like, oh, you wake up and you need to have a drink.
Yeah.
It's just more like if we're just chilling here having a casual conversation, it's like, hold on, like, where's the beer at? Like,
Yeah.
we need beer here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's just what it is.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I I was just talking to my brother about this because he's at home with the kids. I've been drinking since I was 10.
Oh shit.
I started like taking, but mine wasn't because of like I was in the streets or nothing like that. Mine was just because I couldn't deal with the shit that was going on at home.
Mm.
And I remember I would steal my parents' Hypnotic, their Crown, like
Yeah.
whatever I could get my hands on. I remember like all the homegirls in like the 7th grade, we'd freaking bring vodka and water bottles, be faded at school.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, how did none of these teachers smell, for one, especially with vodka, the alcohol on us?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was going on? But it was kind of crazy to really sit and think about, like, oh shit, I really thought it was normal because much like you, all my family's alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would refer to themselves like that, but it's true. Like, every event, no matter what it is, everyone is getting shit-faced, staying up till like 5 in the morning because, the perico's there too. Freaking somebody ends up fighting, like, and it was fun. When I was a kid, I looked at that and I was like, oh, hell yeah, my uncles and my aunts have hella fun, And then when I got into my adolescence, I wanted to be the little cousin that was hella down. Like, hell yeah, I'll take a shot. Heck yeah, I'll get faded. And it just became regular,
It was normal.
It was normal. And then I found that when I actually dabbled into other things. So, like, by high school, I was taking probably like 46 Norcos a day.
Oh shit.
And then I was, it was a lot. I tore my ACL and they prescribed me Norcos, and then my dad had hella Norcos, and I would just take what he had because he didn't take his pills. So I always had that access. Plus I was selling them. And then I started selling Coke for a little bit. Started doing Coke, never get high off your own supply, but I didn't fucking listen, And then I stopped for a minute. Then I got into a really like abusive relationship. And he was selling crystal at the time, and then I got into that, and that was when, like, right after that is when I experienced like fully what addiction was. I think I weighed, my lowest was like 110 pounds.
Damn.
I ended up being homeless, like couch surfing, $9 to my name, and that's when I realized, like, holy shit, I gotta change my life. Like, what am I doing? And even after that, I still struggled with alcohol, because like you said, it's normal. So in my head, I'm like, well, I got off all the hard stuff, but alcohol, everyone does it. Like, what do you mean I'm not gonna be able to have a drink socially? Like, that sounds, what the hell? You know?
Yeah.
It felt weird. Did you experience that? Like, when you wanted to stop drinking?
No. It was something that I mentally prepared myself for.
Yeah.
It's like I know what it's gonna come with. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna come with losing a lot of people. I'm gonna lose a lot of close homies.
And did you?
Yeah, hell yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because you hear about it or they tell you about it, or I spoke to some, I was like, hey, I'm about to quit drinking. They're just like, hey, you're gonna lose a lot of people, like, like, and I'm just like, yeah, like, I know, like, hey, people are gonna start talking shit about you, right? I'm like, yeah. And it's crazy because, like, once it starts happening, you're like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I knew this was coming, but it's crazy to see it happening in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of, it's what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit, you just, you just got to accept it.
Yeah. See, I think maybe because I'm a female and I'm a little bit more emotional, I didn't even fully stop drinking. I'll still have a drink every now and again, right? But I cut back on drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, I seen just how much I was outcasted from my family. And maybe that's why it hurt. Maybe that's why it was harder for me to deal with. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, like my family really ain't inviting me to nothing no more.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like y'all getting together and like
Yeah.
I'm not invited to nothing
That
no
shit
more.
happens too.
You know? And
Yeah.
then I just kind of started seeing like when I would be asked, like there was actually a very serious situation that happened. And I had to tell one of my aunts, like, hey, I love you, but your life is now bleeding onto the kids. And the kids are in harm's way because of what's going on. And for the sake of them, I have to have the peace within myself to tell you, like, something's got to change in your life because I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that, like, I could have intervened and said something. And one of the kids growing up being like, damn, why didn't an adult check my mom or whatever, you know? And after that, like, I realized, like, damn, like, you got family that I don't know if you do, but some family don't fuck with you. Some people don't fuck with you. It's like everybody clicked up, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody just came together, and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now I feel really didn't. I knew I was the black sheep of the family, but now I'm
Yeah.
really the black sheep of the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I'm a little used to that with the rap shit. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
are you?
Yeah.
Why is it similar?
Yeah. Because every rapper, I think, or every person that's just popping in general, whatever they do, if they're really, you feel me, buzzing or got a buzz going on or something.
Yeah.
I think anybody, like any business owner, you feel me, any people that run a podcast,
Don't tell me that. No.
yeah, I think everybody has their own individual haters out there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them we don't know who they are. You feel me? It's always behind
The
a
keyboard.
screen.
Yeah.
And they're just watching, they're just waiting, and as soon as something happens, they're just boom, they all just group,
Oh my God, dude, that shit
Yeah.
is so weird to me. Genuinely, like, and I mean, I feel like I've been mentally preparing myself. I've even told my husband and other people on the podcast. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm like, dear Lord God, please, any weapon formed against me shall not prosper. Because as I'm getting to know the slimy side of business, it genuinely trips me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe it's because I keep my circle very small. I'm very selective with like who I have around,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very big on peace and quality over quantity type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like it's perplexing a little bit to see how people move,
Mm-hmm.
to see what people are willing to do or what they're willing to compromise with themselves if they think someone's in a position or they think you're in a position.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ugly. Like, I'm not ready to, as I grow, as I have bigger names on, like, I'm a little nervous about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that you got to be cautious about. It's just something that you got to always keep in the back of your mind. You know, watch how you move. Never, expose your full hand. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of do what you do.
I'll
You know what I'm saying?
remember
Yeah, never. Everybody's not meant to see or know everything. You know what I'm saying? Just keep certain shit on the back burner. Move low key and just, mind your business.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Certain shit's gonna be inevitable. Like, you can't stop the hate, you can't stop the jealousy, the envy. You can't stop a lot of those things. But you can for sure, watch how you move.
Yeah.
Just move cautious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, back to the alcoholism stuff. What was the breaking point for you? What did it take? What did that process look like of you realizing, like, I gotta cut this shit?
So yeah, like you said, like a lot of people don't open up and talk about this shit, and I don't think I ever have, just because I haven't been sober in a long time. I would say, being an artist, being a rapper, it just comes with the alcohol. Plays a big role in everything that we used to do. Like every studio session, there has to be liquor, alcohol. My go-to was Don Julio Reposado before I quit. Every studio session, every video shoot, every everything, every function, show, and every weekend, damn near. And yeah, I mean, there's certain people that could take 2 or 3 shots and stop.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Certain people that could drink 2 or 3 beers and I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And I wasn't those people. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
like, bro, like I'm gonna get fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like to have fun, and this shit just intensifies, the night. And so I would just stay with the Don Julio bottle, and I just didn't know when to stop drinking. And then, yeah, I mean, certain nights, you black out, you wake up the next morning, and people are like, "Hey, you remember doing this?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Hell no, I don't remember." Or like, "Hey, where'd all my money go?" They're like, "Oh yeah, you spent it all last night." Like, what the
Damn.
fuck? Um, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? All type of shit. And then it's just like you. I used to sell coke back in the day, but I wasn't like your regular user, But
Yeah.
then some, every now and then, being around, the crowd that you're in, somebody always got a bag,
Mhm.
and then sometimes you dab up in it, and then you're
Mhm.
just like, what the fuck did I do last night? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just makes you do shit that you wouldn't normally do if you were sober. Um,
Yeah. What's a very low frequency
yeah,
vice? You know, like it really genuinely lowers uh, everything about your logic, your reasoning. Um, it's a depressant. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
people's I call it sin, the sin that they struggle with. You
Hmm.
know, that internal thing, whether you're faithful normally, but then you start drinking, and that lust, that sinful lust comes out.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
All that shit comes out for
the
sure.
anger that you harbored from
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
all that
All that shit.
shit
Yeah,
comes out.
it just brings out your inner demons. And so that was like one of the big reasons, you feel me, why I was like, I've tried to stop in the past, but I just couldn't. I would
Yeah.
relapse. Um, but this last time, when was it? It was last year in April, so like the beginning of the year last year. Um, so I was already fighting a case. I was fighting a pretty hot case out there in Merced County,
Hmm.
and then I ended up catching another case. You feel me, in the Bay Area. Um, and I hit my lawyer up. I was like, "Hey, like I got another case. You know what I'm saying, I'm gonna need you for another case type shit."
Yeah.
He's like, "It's good." He's like, "Let's just hope that Merced County don't hear about this shit because I bailed out. Like, let's just hope they don't hear about it. We could get you like a deal going
Hmm.
before they catch on. Because if not, you for sure gonna go sit down."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right." So I was kind of like, preparing myself. Like, yeah, I'm gonna probably go sit down. Knowing my luck, I always get the shit end of the stick. So I was just preparing myself, and then I just kind of had like a deep, you know, conversation with myself type shit. I was like, I had a talk with a couple of my close friends, and then that's the time to where I was like, I'm gonna go do time. I'm gonna leave my daughter behind, and I got the music shit going on, right? Like I got the steady rap checks coming, but I was like, I want to leave that all for my family, my daughter.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to, hit up nobody and ask for no bread type shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All my money's gonna go to my family, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start up this clothing brand, and when I start up this clothing brand, I'm gonna kind of just eat off that type shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I started that last year, and then I was talking to one of my boys, um, Q from Backpack Boys, and he gave me some good ass game, and he was just very supportive of what I was doing in going sober, and and then I just seen a vision. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the first millionaire in my family. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna touch that million, and there's no way I'm gonna. I have like I have a vision and I have goals
Hmm.
that I want to accomplish in life. So I was like, knowing myself, keeping it all the way real with myself. There's no way that that's gonna happen if I keep drinking the way I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? So because so far my life has been a repetitive cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jail, drinking, the hood, jail, drinking, the hood, guns, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. Everything that comes with that cycle, it's just all we know. So I'm like, man, like, what if I cut one of those bad habits out? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Cut the alcohol out. And Doing that, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go for 1 week. So I went for 1 week and I did it. Like, it was hard as fuck, but I did it.
Yeah.
Even like, and like I said, being alcoholic doesn't necessarily mean that you got to wake up drinking, go to sleep drinking.
Yeah.
It just means like, damn, I at least need a beer today. I need to kill this crave.
Yes.
I'm craving a cold ass beer, you know, and you just drink it, you know, and then cool. But you're doing that every 2 days,
Yep.
or whatever.
Yeah. That's
You know what I'm
functional
saying?
alcoholism.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I learned this shit because I caught a DUI like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just put it on the back burner, didn't even fuck with it or nothing.
Yeah.
And I had to do the classes last year to get my license
Oh.
back. So I started learning this shit. I was like, oh fuck, right? But so I cut that off. I cut the alcohol off, and I was like, fuck. I did 1 week. Let me go for 2. I did 2 weeks, and then I was like, let me go for a month.
Yeah.
And I went for a month, and that was hard because I had shows at like nightclubs, and
The environment.
yeah, it was just like, damn, like this is hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Hella hard. But this is what helped, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like a mental thing, you know?
Yeah.
And,
And it's like kind of a carbonated like beer.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what I was actually on when I cut back drinking too. I started drinking hella mineral water.
Yeah, yeah. And before that, I didn't like mineral water. I didn't
Yeah.
like mineral water last year like that.
Yeah.
So then I did it for a month, and I was like, all right, cool. And then, you know, I was like, I kind of got to stay away from certain people because if I go around those certain people, I'm going to relapse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get easily influenced and relapse. And so I did. You know what I'm saying? You have to,
Yeah.
you know? And I did, and I pretty much, it felt like I cut the world off damn near. I was like, man.
Was that hard to process and deal with?
Yeah, hell yeah. The first few months, it was hard because it was I've been doing this cycle for my whole life damn near. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Around the same crowd, the same people, the same, you know, everything, the same routine. So yeah, it was hard. It was hard to process. It didn't feel right to me, you know? It didn't sit right with me, but I knew it was necessary in order for me to reach, you know, my set goals.
Yeah. Did you notice a difference in yourself? Like your mental clarity, the way you were feeling? Like, did you notice any physical change with your body?
Yeah. You know, you start thinking a lot more clear. You know what I'm saying? You start feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good, and it felt real foreign to wake up on a Saturday and a Sunday morning sober.
Yeah.
Like, not hungover. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It felt normal, but it felt good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the main reason, like, why I was like, all right. Oh, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna drink on my birthday.
Yeah.
So like in 4 months, I'm gonna drink. My birthday came about, and I was like, nah, I don't even feel like drinking. So I was like, I'm gonna drink on New Year's when my family comes from out of state, you know, and then we'll all drink and shit like that. New Year's came about, and I just didn't feel like drinking on New Year's. So next thing you know, boom, here comes April. I was like, oh shit, I'm a year sober already. Like, that's crazy. So now it's just more like, I don't know, you know,
Do you
how
have
long.
the urge?
I get the urge sometimes, but it comes at the strangest moments. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be grocery shopping, and I'll see like a bottle of Don Julio,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, damn, that shit look fire, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still like I'm taking it day by day. And I'd be lying to you if I said like, oh yeah, I'm never drinking again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm taking it day by day. And as of now, like I said, like I want to be the first millionaire in my family. So as of like right now, like the moment I touch that million, I'm not gonna say I'm a relapse, right? But I'm for
Yeah.
sure gonna take a shot. Like, yeah,
That's gonna
yeah, like
be
I
the,
did it,
the
right?
exception, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Or if I meet somebody that I grew up like idolizing, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like Snoop Dogg, and
Yeah.
he want to take a shot, I'll be
You
like,
have
bro,
to,
like I'm gonna
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
But it ain't, like I said, it don't necessarily mean like I'm a relapse. It's just, you know, alcohol brought a lot of darkness and a lot of problems and a lot of regrets into my life, and yeah, I'm just glad it's not in my life right now, and
Yeah.
it's and that's another thing too. A big important part of it was I was pretty successful in everything that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for since 2018, so like 6 years, 5 going on 6 at the time. So I was like, I accomplished a lot. I was very successful. I achieved a lot of milestones in my career, and it was all while drinking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me cut the alcohol off and see how far I could get without it. And I think I've accomplished more in this last year than I have
Yeah.
in those 5 years of drinking.
Yeah. Isn't it a trip?
Yeah.
The clarity that comes when you cut back alcohol or any drug. Like, I think that was the biggest thing for me, to feel the difference in, like, you don't know. And I always say this to people, because I get a lot of people that hit me up for that. Like, I run a mentorship program, and I got a lot of people that hit me up that are struggling with addiction issues. And I always tell people, take it an hour at a time, a minute at a time. Because the harder shit that I was on, there was, I went through the withdrawals. Did you go through withdrawals? Or
Like
was
things
it like that?
no, it wasn't like Ray Charles withdrawals.
Yeah,
Like
but was it like, I know some people with alcohol, they get like irritable, like a little bit of
oh
ansiedad, like things
yeah,
like
hell
that.
yeah. What I noticed is, what I noticed is like that my anger like was like I'd get angry fast,
Yeah,
like don't fucking talk to me, like I can't talk to nobody, like I'll,
yeah,
I'll be quick to flash on somebody.
yeah,
Not no more, but like the first like 2-3 months,
yeah,
yeah, I noticed
yeah.
that
Your
like
body was detoxing all of
it,
that.
it was just craving it, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just like I just wasn't in the mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was like, bro, like this. I was fighting the withdrawals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. See, with Chris, I had like withdrawals, like sweating, fever, shakes for a week.
Hmm.
Um, and then everything else, that I've done a lot of drugs in my life, but everything else, I
Hmm.
wouldn't say I was addicted to anything else other than like the Chris and the alcohol.
Hmm.
But with the alcohol, the biggest thing that I realized was, when I would go like a week without drinking, and then let's say something happened on the weekend, and I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna drink a little bit, I'm gonna get a little buzz. It made me feel like, ugh, like I just was like, ugh, like I don't like the mental space I'm in. I
Hmm.
don't like how I feel. I'm almost like I started becoming allergic to the feeling of drinking alcohol.
Hmm.
And it tripped me out so much to be able to differentiate my clear mind, the energy that I got, the mental fortitude that I got when I'm not drinking, just how it improved everything in my life. Like, I wanted to exercise. I was more of a patient mom. And being a mom, they really push that wine culture. They
Hmm.
really push, like, oh, have a drink at the end of the day, because the kids were being crazy and up your ass. And now
Hmm.
I'm realizing how detrimental that mindset is to us moms, and people in general, but specifically as moms, because we got to have the mental fortitude to be able to be the pillars in our family.
Hmm.
And if we're, indulging in alcohol because we can't handle the stressors of being a parent, and the way that alcohol fogs your mind, that shit will really convince you that you're like fine. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I only do it on the weekends, but on the weekends when I do it, I have to get fucked up. You know?
Yeah, I mean, any time before I went sober, like if you were to tell me something like that, like you don't need alcohol for this, I would have been like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I would just go have my drink for sure. But now I'm so like I got to take advantage of every minute of the day.
Yeah.
I I I'll time how much I could sleep. Like today, I'm only sleeping this time because I only got 24 hours today.
Yeah.
I'll sleep from this time to this time, X amount of hours. From this hour to this hour, I need to get all this done. From this hour to this hour, so I use every single minute of my day now.
Yeah.
Every single day, Monday through Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I'm so fucking productive. That's how I get so much shit done. By the time somebody's waking up, I'm like, I'm running laps around
Yeah.
people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I messaged you real early this morning. I was surprised you were up.
I don't even know what time that was.
I think it was like 6 something.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm
And
saying?
I'm usually up at 5 because my man wakes up and I like do all his morning stuff because he goes to work
Yeah,
12 hours a
yeah.
day.
So
So
I'll
I'm
be
like
up
early.
like, I take advantage of every single minute of the day. So it's like if I was still drinking, the next day I'm hungover, I'll sleep all day.
Mm-hmm.
So now I look at that and I'm just like, damn, like how could you do that? Like to
Yeah.
other people um, that are still in that
Yeah.
lifestyle, in that cycle, I'd be like, damn, bro, like I couldn't do
Yeah.
that.
No.
Not because of the hangover, but like how could you waste your time?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, see me, I'm like the hangover. If I
yeah,
do the hangover will knock me on my ass for like 3 days.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
be seeing people like I know somebody that she could go all
yeah,
weekend
yeah,
and
yeah,
be up hella early the next day and I'm like, how in the fuck do
yeah.
you do that?
There's people that go 3, 4 day
Put me on
binges.
my ass. Like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
real.
yeah. And I mean, it's unfortunate, you know, that we had to go through that, and that other people still go through that. But I mean, I'm glad that I learned before, you know, anything worse happened,
Yeah.
and I hope that certain people catch on
Yeah.
before something happens,
Yeah.
or
It,
or waste too much time.
definitely. In terms of your connections with people now, do you notice a difference now that alcohol is not involved?
Um, so I've always been intrigued by like business
Yeah.
and entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
and I was even into it when I was getting drunk type shit. But now I feel like I'm getting a little, like, I'm networking more.
Mm-hmm.
Like that lane is getting a lot stronger. Being sober, um, I see that change, and then just me not really wanting to associate myself with anything that's gonna waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have that vision. That vision is drilled and instilled in my
Yeah.
brain. That when I wake up every morning, like I see it, and I'm not content until
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah.
So anything that's gonna interfere in that, I'm just like,
Gotta go.
nah, yeah,
That's a good motivator.
yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, if you had to rate how much environment is a factor in addiction or substance use, what would you rate it?
100%.
A
Yes,
hundred.
yeah,
100.
for sure.
The reason I specifically asked that is because I think a lot of people don't realize the impact of your environment and who you have around.
Hmm.
And statistically speaking, most people, because we're pack animals, will follow the crowd. It's actually a small percentage of people that are willing to be like you and I and lead, even
Hmm.
though our whole environment is engaged in a certain mentality, way of thinking, or substance use, whatever it may be. Leaders are very rare.
Hmm.
And I think it's very important that people realize, like, no matter what it is, whether it's addiction, whether you're catching cases, whether you're around people that just in general are unmotivated and lazy or negative, you know, there's a saying, you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
You know, that what's that saying? You know, dime con quién andas y te digo quién eres. You
Hmm.
know, tell me who you're around, I'll tell you who you are.
Hmm.
Like that shit is real. And I think not a lot of people understand the gravity of if you truly want to elevate and grow in life, you got to reevaluate your environment. And you got to really, like you said, accept that you're going to have to distance yourself from people. You're going to have to make choices to not go to certain events or cut out early or whatever,
Hmm.
and at the expense of your reputation, at the expense of your ego, at the expense of your pride, at the expense of how people view you.
Hmm.
And it's going to be hella hard to do. And people, I think, need to mentally prepare themselves to what it feels like to stand alone.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of courage, for sure. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people know what they want. They're like, damn, like, I want to stop this shit, and I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm afraid of what they might think of me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
afraid that they might cut me off. I'm afraid of how they're going to look at me, or they're no longer going to view me the same way. And I think it's completely normal to feel like that. But at the same time, you gotta figure out what's more important.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that's always gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go to the hood park, and there's always gonna be the same, you know, thing going on,
Yeah.
and it's always gonna be this. You know what I mean?
And usually there's a few examples at that park that give you a little insight on your future and what you're gonna look like 20
Yeah.
years from now if you don't fucking
Hmm.
choose a different path. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody just, you know, they just kind of gotta pick what they want. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was just kind of, I was just like prepared for,
Yeah.
you know, whatever came with it.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
another important thing too for people to remember is that people who truly want to see you do good
Yeah,
will
facts. They're gonna
like
support it.
yeah, you're gonna feel like you're taking hella losses with everybody that you thought were close to you or thought
Mm-hmm.
were gonna be with you or whatever. But you'll find that even in those losses, you actually keep the real
Yeah,
diamonds.
some
You know,
some
you
some
gonna keep
people
the
would
people
be
that are
like, "Hey,
solid.
you know what? It's cool." Like some people would be like, "Hey, like you want to drink a mineral water? Like I'll bring you a mineral water and I'll drink a Modelo." You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like you ain't got to drink around me. They were like, "Yeah, you appreciate those people for
yeah,
sure." Hell yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
you
it
gonna get that.
shows you. It shows you how much people want to help support you bettering your life.
Yeah,
You know, when you see the people that be like, "What? You're not drinking here? Just have a beer, have a shot."
yeah,
Da,
just
da.
one, yeah.
You know, and maybe they do it unconsciously that they don't understand. Like, hey, this
I
shit's
mean,
bigger than
I
this. You
can't
know.
blame them because I used to be that person too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you're
Like
trying to get everyone to break their.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I was always, yeah. You could ask. I'll be like, bro, that motherfucker was always putting a bottle down my throat. Yeah, I used to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Um,
But was that because of lack of understanding? Because you were engaged in that, or do you feel like it was immaturity? What do you feel like that stemmed from?
I felt it. I mean, I would say me. I would say it was just what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just normal. But I would say it would have to be all of the above, right? Like just everything into one. It's
Yeah.
just being drunk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just being drunk, being unconscious of what you're doing. Um, you know, just being the life of the party or something. I mean, just
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, my hat's off to you for being able to conquer that in yourself and actually speaking about it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're in a position of influence, like great influence to a lot of people that have lived your life, walked in similar, footsteps, and for you to be able to speak about it, stand in it,
Yeah.
honor the process without being like ashamed of the fact that like, yeah, this was an issue, I broke from it, and you're even giving the gems, the whys as to why and how and all that shit. I really
Yeah.
put respect on that
Yeah.
because when you're in what we do, what you do, rapping, podcasting, whatever, it's entertainment for a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
But my whole business model has been shit can entertain you for so long, but people need to see shit that they're gonna feel because
Mhm.
authenticity is where it's at. And
Yeah.
someone watching this, listening to this, is gonna be on the other end of this, and they're gonna feel exactly what you just said, and it's gonna
Yeah, yeah.
impact them.
All that shit. I mean, I vividly remember all those, depressing mornings, you know what I'm saying? Watching this, watching the sun come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, like what am I doing with myself? Sleeping all day. It's just it ain't him. It ain't
Yeah.
him. Like I said, I got a vision and I got goals and I got a daughter, I got a family that I got to provide for, you know what I'm saying? Um and in order for me to give them what I want to give them, you feel me? I had to let go of some habits.
Yeah.
In order for me to grow, I had to let go of some habits. Otherwise, I would have stayed in that same cycle, you know? And I could always jump back in when I want because it's always going to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I want to live that life again. It's right there waiting for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
But
hope I hope that circle sees what you're doing,
yeah.
and they hop on that side, and they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
let's
I
get
mean,
on what GB's doing.
yeah, I wish nothing but the best for any of my peers and my loved ones um, that currently, suffer from any type of addiction, any type of um, secret addictions, you know what I'm saying? Any
Mm-hmm.
type of, just lack of motivation, you know what I'm saying? Lack uh, of grind, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of people view you or me and be like, damn, like, hey, I commend you for doing your thing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I couldn't do it. And it's like, nah, you could do it. You just got to let go of certain habits and change certain ways and apply yourself to it. Um, because, we were once in their shoes. Like you
Yeah.
said, I was once homeless, $9 to my pocket. I was once drinking, drunk, blacked out, um, you know, recycling for studio time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just like, it's if you could see it, you could accomplish it. But some shit it might require to make certain
Mm-hmm.
adjustments in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, cut certain shit out and apply certain habits. new habits, new, more productive and positive habits, and you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A saying that my dad used to always tell me growing up has helped me throughout my life so much, and especially with addiction. He would always say, "Are you a man or a mouse?" And the choice is yours. And you apply that to everything. Everything that you do, you're either gonna give it 100% because that's the content of your character,
Mm-hmm.
and be a man about shit, or you're gonna be a mouse and you're gonna fold every time. And you got that choice.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, if you're like me, where you got to put your foot on your own neck, and like you let your pride and your ego trick you out of like doing certain shit, live by that. Every decision that you make, every time you want to pick up alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, are you a man or mouse? You gonna let that win you today, or you gonna conquer it? So,
Yeah.
well, before we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
is there any advice that you could give anybody listening that you have learned from life?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot, and I learned a lot from trial and error, and I learned a lot from personal experience. But what I would say is, to learn from my mistakes is just stop wasting time. You know what I'm saying? We live once. If any of you have ever been through like a near death experience, you know how quick it is to just like, damn, it was almost gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, just stop wasting time. Stop wasting. You get 24 hours in a day. Everybody gets the same time. Everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody has equal opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Um, regardless of whatever resources you lack, you could lack all the resources in the hood. You feel me? But if you got the right grind, you could outshine somebody in the suburbs that got all the resources.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's what I learned in life is just not to make up any excuse. There's no excuses, no room for excuses. Just give it your all, and and you're gonna shine in what you do.
Yep, I co-sign that. Is
Yep.
there any new projects you're working on before we get off?
Yeah. Since this podcast is about a lot of about like healing and addiction and stuff like that, I recently dropped a new video. It's called Skeletons. Me featuring my boy Alexis. It's on YouTube now. Go peep that. It's very deep. It's named Skeletons for a reason. I had to dig deep into my skeletons to write that. And yeah, we got a new album dropping. It's titled El Niño del Barrio. So it's a dope project coming up. Hopefully before the summer. We just trying to get the rollout right. And yeah, just always new content, always new shows, new everything. You feel me? New merch. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you
Go
go.
shop on the website, gettoboy.com without a H. And yeah, you feel me?
All
Just
right.
looking forward to just growing.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, you guys tap in with him. Go check all that out. Buy some merch.
Mm-hmm.
Always support. That's the best thing that you could do. And if you don't got nothing like that, a like, a share, a comment, all that goes a long way for us both.
Yeah.
So,
Facts.
GB, thank you so much.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yes, of course. And
Yep.
you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.